a lesbian and a loudmouth Jew. With a gasket always ready to blow, you're listening to Judy's show. Who? Judy show. Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Oh, she's an asshole. What is wrong with you? Oh, you suck. So long. Fuck off. Hey everyone, welcome to It's Judy's Show with Judy Gold. I am your host, Judy Gold, and this week we have part 2 of my interview with Rabbi Iggy, which was supposed to be a one-parter, but I couldn't stop talking to him, and I really hope, I know that he got a lot of really good feedback, and I hope that you all really enjoy it and get something out of it as much as I did. Speaking to him, he's such an extraordinary person and so helpful and a really good spiritual guide. That is what you're going to be hearing today. Also wanted to just plug some dates. Plugging the dates. I'm going to be in Tarrytown. That's Tarrytown, New York, at the Shames Jewish Community Center on February 1st. I'm doing a show there, and it's going to be really good. So if you live in the Westchester area, please go to the Shames JCC, and I will be doing my stand-up comedy. I have a whole bunch of gigs. Well, first, I will be starting my run in the off-Broadway play, My First Ex-Husband, written by Joy Behar, and that is from February 26th through March 23rd. And that is off-Broadway on the Upper West Side in a theater called MMAC Theater, which is so convenient for me, 248 West 60th. And it's going to be great. I'm so excited. If you live in New York, we are doing a live podcast on Monday, February 24th at 6 p.m. at the Village Underground, which is part of the Comedy Cellar down. It's on West 3rd Street. And I am interviewing live Stephanie Rule. I'm so excited. So get your tickets. I'm going to be posting about it. It's February 24th at 6 p.m. Live podcast with Stephanie Rule. And I will be coming to your city, I hope, soon. I'm in D.C., December 27th through the 29th. I'm in Aruba, the 31st at Aruba Rays, the 31st to the 4th. I'm in New Jersey at the Martinsville Gardens at 12 p.m. for the Jewish Family Service. I'm in Boca on April 9 and 10, and then it's Pesach. And I am in Sellersville, Pennsylvania on April 19th. I got a lot going on. Pittsburgh City Winery on April 25th. I just got a lot of shit going on. So I need you all to come to all my shows. Okay, so that's that. I just wanted to say I had a video I think go viral. I mean, I did a video about Elon Musk doing the not doing or not doing the excuse me, I'm yelling, the Heil Hitler salute when he said my heart goes out to you, but he was really trying to say my heart goes out to you, according to people, and not twice doing the salute. And, you know, everyone's having a conniption and, oh, these people did the same thing. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. Sorry. He banged his chest. It was like literally, it wasn't like, oh, my heart goes out to you. And, you know, I hear, oh, he's autistic and, oh, he's so great for the Jews, so you shouldn't criticize him because he likes Jews. This whole thing where if someone is not anti-Semitic or is a Zionist and you can't criticize them, even if they're a fucking asshole, like, I don't understand that. Yes, thank you for your love and support for the Jews. We are having an existential crisis right now. and it's very, 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 very scary out there. But you can still be an asshole, you know? Just like you can be like one of the greatest living artists, writers, fashion designers, Coco Chanel, and hate Jews. So, you know, there's nuance, and it's like this, there's a lot of infighting going on in the Jewish community and nastiness. Like, how could you blah, blah, blah? Just stop it. People are allowed to have opinions. You're allowed to have a different opinion or a differently nuanced opinion, but we're still allowed to, I think, you know, we're allowed to be critical thinkers and think things and feel things and think things differently than someone else. Apparently, it's just getting on my fucking nerves. I tried to watch, you know, the other thing is these people who just, you know, Trump's behavior is so abhorrent. He's so disgusting. He's such an asshole, but he likes the Jews and he's good for the Jews. I get it. I like when he says positive stuff about the Jews and the hostages, but he's still a fucking asshole. Okay? And the fact that, you know, you can overlook everything else, I get it. I get it. We are, you know, it's our survival. I'm sorry, I'm not that person who can just overlook everything. I can't do it. So I'm just letting you know that I have other opinions, and that's okay. That is okay. I am a proud Jew. I believe I am a Zionist. I believe Israel has a right to exist and defend itself. I also don't want innocent people dying. I think Netanyahu, yes, was a warrior, but I do think he is not great. I think he's just not honest person. Yeah, I'm not in love with Netanyahu. So, and I think he's, you know, and neither are a lot of people in Israel who protest against him. So cut the shit with we all have groupthink, okay? Because I don't have groupthink. And I don't want to have groupthink. And stop attacking other Jews. Ugh. All right, so that's my thing. I can't. I watched a little bit of Orange Fuckface talking, and then talking about getting rid of FEMA, and then talking about giving money to rebuild in North Carolina, and how many votes he got, and him, and how many votes, and his votes, and how many votes, and him, and me. I can't fucking listen to it. And Pete Hegseth, like, these people are so unqualified. I can't. But you're fine with it because he, you know, he's apparently not anti-Semitic. Right. Okay. Anyway, so I'm trying not to watch the news. I'm going to try not to watch the news. I'm reading books. I'm reading interesting articles, novels, you know, practicing the piano, working out a lot, like just self-care, baby. That's what we need to do, is self-care. Because this is just the beginning. Just the beginning. All right. So that's that. So this is why I love Rabbi Iggy. And I think that, you know, he's exactly what we need to hear today and this week. So I want you to sit back, relax, write to me if you want any more information about Rabbi Iggy's Talmud class, which is on Zoom, or any other information, or how to get in touch with him. He's great. But sit back, relax, and enjoy part 2 of my conversation with Rabbi Iggy. Okay. You have said that faith,
yes,
is an action.
Correct.
It is an action.
That's right.
And at this point, I mean, just in the past can I say month and a half?
Yes.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Someone drives a truck through people. The past, year and how many days, these hostages.
Yep.
The election.
Yes.
The nastiness, the classlessness, the fires.
Yeah.
The school shootings.
Yeah.
The climate change. I mean, I feel like I am drowning in negativity and hurdles.
Yes. Yep.
And the fact that, I'm a little older than you. I'm a decade plus, a little over a decade older than you. I've been marching and protesting and making signs and volunteering since I'm out of college, and in college, but mostly out of college. And I feel like we get to this certain point and I'm like, yay. And now I feel completely beaten down. And I think so many people feel this way. And that is why I turn to you. And I want my listeners, and hopefully new listeners, to turn to you. And so can you help with what the fuck is going on, Iggy? I can't. And so many people I know are dying of cancer and it's just it's every fucking day.
Yeah. That's the question of questions, right? I'll start with this. And this is hard for people to hear, right? Even though I have faith in my configuration of God, if you really ask my theology, here it is. God does not give a shit, so I must. God does not care about us, so I have to. If we are created in the image of God, the godliness is within each one. What is God, Iggy? God is a fountainhead. God is a fountain of goodness and spirituality and inspiration and the kind of battery of the world that only is concerned with itself and the overflow of it in itself. And when the overflow falls on the sides, we are at the bottom of those and we experience this sort of energy, this goodness, this godliness as that, right? But itself, God does not care. There is zero evidence to me personally and in general that God in fact cares. But it is at the core of our existence, at the core of the universe, if you will, that inspires and moves and changes everything. But I have to. You have to. Each of us has to, be, in that sense, the God, B'Tselem, created in God's image, has to be within that and try to take care of the world. And we fucked it up. We're fucking it up.
Major.
Because we think that some other thing, some other being, somebody else's responsibility, The person in New Orleans ramming into people thought somehow he's speaking, about, assuming, I don't know the person, speaking for some other God, for some other cause, for some other thing, And this is the righteous thing to do, A person shoots somebody in the back of the head because they're unhappy about the state of of health in the state, thinking, this is a righteous thing to do, and that person is responsible. So I'm gonna kill this father and thing because I'm so angry at the system. But what it does is that it points a finger at somebody else, and we are avoiding pointing the finger at ourselves. We have done this, and we don't want to feel that responsibility, so we try to oh, but God and faith. No. Faith is an action. What have you done, for all these things? And you can say, oh, I don't have the power, and you say hey, I've been marching. What do you want from me? I've been marching since I was 20 years old, right? Over 40 years I've been marching. What else do you want from me? but it sort of, there's no remedy in that sense. There's no magic pill. There's nothing for it. But the way forward, in my opinion, always has to be around, okay, what am I going to do with this? I can't explain why the fires or why New Orleans or why COVID or why the death and thing. But I can say, okay, and like we don't, like, the president did not elect himself. It seems, I don't know, but it seems that sort of he won fair and square by a pretty big red sweep. And we, Democrats, liberals, have to ask ourselves, how did we get there? How do we get to a place where we feel that sort of other people and some of us, and in fact, some of our friends, right, like you said, who are voting about Israel, whatever, who said, you know what, I'm willing to ignore all this because because I feel this way, and I don't want to see other people's suffering as mine. I don't want to, I don't want to hear these other people. And when we don't feel seen and we don't feel heard, when we feel that we don't matter, and this is true for addiction, as is true for anything else, when we feel that we are not worthy, we do awful things to ourselves and others.
Amazing. But how do you deal with these people? I'm called Genocide Judy every day.
Yes.
I get some sort of message about how I'm killing Palestinian children.
Same.
And what a hateful Zionistic piece of
No, it
shit.
just turns out I kill babies for breakfast every day.
Yeah. I feel like these people are brainwashed, and also you can't even talk to them. I mean, how do you even talk to these people? And they're not coming from a place of truth or knowledge. They're willfully ignorant. So it's like we have to share a space with people. And as a Jew and as a gay and as a woman, like, it used to be in 2016, you could look and say, oh, they voted for Trump, and you could do a wink to someone. I can't even do a wink because I can't believe the people who have, and even the Jew, they're constantly, how dare you, how could you even vote for Kamala, or how could you as a Jew? It's like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
And I think it speaks to your, you said that everyone should be a hyphenate. That you're not just one thing.
That's right. None of us are one thing. I think we've reached a point. I'm hoping it's a rock bottom, but I think we've reached a point where we seem to focus on everything that divides us constantly. And this is true for the left as is true for the right? Sort of like, I'm as excommunicated from the far left, right? As a Jew, as a man, as a cisgender man, right? Like all these things, as I am in some places over the right.
Right.
I think that we have become fascist of our own cause, right? I can only have around me people who think exactly like me, no matter where you are. And it is the problem, I'm actually writing about this, it is a result of American particularism. We have spent decades of being like, well, what kind of thing are you? Like, what? Oh, I do this yoga, but I don't do this yoga. But like, I want to be seen and heard because I'm a tall blonde lesbian. I'm not a short blonde lesbian. I'm not, right? I'm a Jewish, right? So like I'm an immigrant. Like, and everybody is like, but what about me? But what about me? And dare I say, and sort of like the incessant mention of the pronouns, right? So like I was at this meeting, and I know it's not like super PC. Please don't come at me. But like, it was this whole infernal meeting, and it eventually sort of like it got to my turn, and somebody asked, "What is your pronoun?" And I said, "My pronoun is Rabbi." Right? Like I this particularism that keeps dividing us.
I am 100% in with this shit.
You know, like constantly divide us is what happens here, and which is why I can't even sometimes see like how can you vote for them? Oh, if you voted for him, it must be this.
Right, but it's also like, you know, you're talking to me and calling me a murderer, and that, you know, it's not, you know, we're colonial, like,
right.
It's so not factual.
True.
And it's like, I don't even want to talk to you because you don't have even.
Look, sometimes we can't, right? Sometimes, much like with children, there's a timeout. I can't talk to you. Right. Why don't you use your words and stop screaming, and then we can talk. Because, right, the real question I would like to ask them, but sometimes it's just like you have to say, like, no, I'm not. I'm sequestering, right? And Jews have done this for many, many years, right? Only in the, right, what the thing that is most painful, I think, about for American Jewry is that we lived for a certain delusional time in this illusion that sort of we are accepted and everything's fine and sort of like being a good person and, you know, tikkun fucking olam, which I hate, right? Sort of like this sort of like if I help dig wells in Africa, or if I do this and if I'm tikkun olam, everybody will accept me. No, and at the end of the day, right, so like I'm just another Jew. But I think, right, the part of the element is that sort of when you say these things, when you accuse me of murder, when you accuse me of genocide, when you accuse me of this compassion, not what it says about me. What is this about you?
Right.
Why do you need me to be this complicit in this other thing? Is it because you feel guilty that you are on American soil, the American land, which is also sort of not indigenous to you, which is like the partaking of American culture and American sort of like government in, right, sort of the colonization of the world, all these like, right, sort of that I hope we can get soonish to a place where we can ask the real question. There's this amazing story, one of my favorite stories in Talmud, about, it's right at the beginning. It's this two rabbis, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia is ill, right? He's sick and he's at his home, and Rabbi Yochanan goes to visit him and he's able to heal him, right? So like he's a healer, right? And he goes into the house and he sees Rabbi Chia, right? And he sees he's suffering. He knows he could help. But before he helps, he asks him, yo, Chia, Chavivim alecha isurin? Are these afflictions dear to you? Do you enjoy them? Do you get something out of them? Rabbi Chia says, neither them nor their reward, right? Acknowledging that there's a reward to this, no anything. And Rabbi Yochanan says, okay, if that's so, great. He gives him his hand and he revives him. And there's a few sort of like stories like just like that, one after the other thing. But the thing for me is that in the suffering of victimization, it's giving you something. Right? It's serving a purpose within you to feel like you're a victim, or to feel like, you know, or to feel like, right? And my question to you is, how? Because if in fact we know it's not factually true, then you're choosing, again, you have sovereignty over this, right? And I think, right, that's part of my own thing of like, yes, right, there are oppressed people in the world, and yes, I mean, I love Israel, I'm a big Zionist. Is Israel perfect? Absolutely. Has it doing things that I really disapprove of? Absolutely, right? So, right, I'm all for protesting policy, I'm all for protesting sort of like that, but protesting people is the problem. However, for me, right, as somebody who deals with people all the time, right, I try to understand the motivation, right? A friend of right, who is Jewish and everything, and all of a sudden sort of like doesn't want to vote liberal because he feels that he's not seen as a gay person, he's not seen as a Jew, right? All these things. And here's this person who, at least on one aspect, like Israel, could offer him perhaps some kind of reprieve. So he's making that choice. I understand it. I totally get it.
Right.
I want to wait. You said something about being hyphenated. If I want to be accepted, right, as a rabbi who also has tattoo, who speaks about deep things, who reads, who Kabbalah, but is also somebody who's obsessed with the Real Housewives of all of them really. If I'm asking to be accepted as multitudes, I have to accept other people as multitudes.
Right. I remember we went out to lunch. I think it was one of the first times, or maybe you came to the cellar because I was like, I need you. And I said, what the fuck happened? And you said, Tikkun Olam is what the fuck happened. That was the first. And I'm like, what? And you explained to me that so many young, and I think this was about all these young Jews who were not standing up for the hostages and for Israel. And, none of us want innocent people fucking dying in Palestine. Okay, none of us want that. And
Absolutely.
you said that people, our community spent years like helping others and being there for others and lost our own identity.
Correct.
And that really resonated with me.
100%. 100%. I love the value of Tikkun Olam, but Tikkun Olam, as we as American Jews have deal with it, what a terrible, awful, stupid, misdirected idea. As I said, and I'll say it again, fuck Tikkun Olam. Fucking Tikkun Olam happened. Because even in Judaism, Tikkun Olam, right, is matched by the other side, which we never talk about, which is called Aniyei Ircha Kodmim, the poor of your city first. It is part of our tradition that if you give charity, right, let's say you live in New York,
yes.
right, tzedakah, right, you are not supposed to give money to Clifton, New Jersey before you give to New York City.
Right.
You're not even, right, technically, you're not even supposed to give tzedakah beyond the Upper West Side to Tribeca before you take care of the poor of your own thing, right? If you do not take care of the poor person, the immigrant, the other, the orphan in your street, right? That it's New York, they're living on our streets. If we don't take care of them, if we ignore them, not look them in the eye, not ask them how they are, not buy them, like food or anything, then what the fuck are we about?
Right.
So if I go, and it's really noble to build wells for people in Africa or to share the wealth, and so sure, but no. And we've lost our ability to actually not just care for our own, but to show the value of who we are. Right? We don't teach our values. We don't teach our Torah. And again, I'm not a religious person in that sense. I'm not trying to make anybody Orthodox.
Right.
But like you said, I teach Talmud twice a week for free to give people access to this thing because it's the thing I love the most, right? It's right. A lot of people ask me, what are we going to do about anti-Semitism?
Yeah.
And I said, there's only one answer. Grow, learn, know.
Right.
Know who you are. Know where you come from. You don't have to become a rabbi. But you have to invest in your own thing. What is the anti-Semitism? Learning.
Right.
Content, knowledge, pride, existence of things that we are part of this world. I can't fix anti-Semitism. I can't fix others. I can't fight others. What I can do is say, here you have your sovereign. What are you going to do with today? You've been given a day. You woke up today. God, if you believe in such thing, or the universe or whatever, has decided that you today are needed in this world.
Right.
What are you going to do with it? So you want to fight anti-Semitism? How about you invest in yourself, in your own Semitism? And fuck Tikkun Olam.
Right.
I'm done with it. I really want us to be able to be knowledgeable and to grow and to understand and to build community around a community that learns and grows together. In the Talmud class, I'm very proud of this. We have people like you. We have writers. We have people who happen to be Jewish. We have people who are not Jewish. We have a convert. We have a convert who is a trans person, and we also have black hatters from Muncie.
Right, and intellectuals and all ages,
That's right.
And
That's right.
Yeah.
So
interpreting.
That's right. So
Yeah.
Interpreting, reading, talking. Right? Talking. There was a moment in class a while ago, right, where one of the Orthodox people sort of said, probably somebody asked, but why did you vote for him? And he said, because my rabbi told me to.
Oh God.
And for a lot of people in the class, they were like, oh, okay. You chose the value of surrender, right, over some other values. I may not share that value, but I understand it.
I get it, but come on. This is why the religious institutions should not be tax-free. Okay?
We agree on that. But
yeah. Okay.
but my point is sort of that I still, right? I have to, in my experience, I still have to love him. I still have to
Right.
welcome him. I still have to talk to him. I still have to understand. And he was brave enough to say it, to not hide.
And honest. Yeah.
Yeah. If we have
God.
any path forward, both as Jews and non-Jews in general, it's only through this practice of radical honesty and authenticity, right? And offering that connection, right? The first question when people call me is, how can I help? Right? There's these elements, right? I don't it's very rarely now that sort of like I'll meet people like a party or thing, whatever, and I'll ask them sort of like how are you, more than like just like, but right, instead of tell me about yourself, I was like, tell me how I can help your goals. Tell me how I can achieve something with you, from small to large. We have to change the way we converse with each other. We have to change the way that we interact with each other. We have to change the spaces that we create for this. We have 4 years coming that are gonna be difficult, right? It's already started, right? It's already started with, like, I read every day and I'm like, I'm just,
I know.
like my eyes get stuck on top of my head because from rolling, right? Sort of like, I don't know. So my favorite new things is sort of that Mel Gibson is one of the
Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone and John Boyd.
But my favorite part of this is that Mel Gibson said that he found out about this through Twitter. Right? It's sort of like he found out through social media that he's been appointed.
Right.
I'm like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Anyway, but like, right, if we are to protect each other and ourselves throughout the next 4 years, it's gonna have to be around community, communication, and connection through those elements, right? Sort of to really be able to say, how do we learn about everything else? So if we have any chance in the midterm or after, is because we have to change, right? And you know, from behavioral change and from my own self, I say to my clients all the time, if you want things you've never had, you have to do things you've never done.
I love that. I love that.
It's right. It's a truth, right? So I have to ask myself, what have I not done in the last sort of cycle of that election? What do I need to do now? How the next 4 years are going to look like for us?
Oh, I love that. I'm writing it down. Rabbi.
Yes.
I just want to tell everyone, you have a Talmud class. It's online every Wednesday, every Friday.
Correct.
It's fantastic. So DM me.
Yeah.
Or write on my website and I will give you the information. It's an hour well spent. First of all, I can't thank you enough because I think you're amazing and fun. I mean, you're even fun to hang out with. Like, it's not even like you're like,
I'm a good hang.
Yeah. And so available and generous and whatever. I could go on and vomit, but will you come back as our spiritual advisor? I mean,
Absolutely.
I always,
100%. 100%. And again, for people who do need this, right? And again, my major work is around recovery, but it's expanded to so much more, right? So like my whole thing is about practical spirituality, right? And in fact, there's sort of some articles, right? Sort of, if you Google me or if you go to whatever, right? There's all sorts of places where I've sort of published a whole bunch of things about that, and what I sort of authored this idea called the spiritual bank account. I think, and it's not a thing, right? There is a way forward. There is a way for you to feel better, to be better. There is a way for us to get better. This is not an end in any way, shape, or form, right? And I can help people. I am sort of trying to help people with this epidemic of loneliness, one sort of day at a time.
Right.
There is a way to fix it, and we just We just need to commit, more and more people committing to it. And once we do, things will change. There's a concept in spiritual life that is called clearing karma, right? So bad things happen over in
Right.
in a short term time, where you sort of have to sort of clear some of the karma so to move forward, right? You have to
Right.
shed sort of things. And I kind of want to believe that perhaps we're going through this phase of clearing karma so that we can move on towards a more brighter future. But no matter what, right? We talked about the Holocaust. No matter what, even in Auschwitz, quote unquote, God exists. Even in those elements, because you want to know why. I think one of the reasons my grandfather found God there, because he found connection with other people through their suffering and through their loves and through their things. Even if we're going to suffer for a while, we have each other, and we have to remember that that is enough.
Wow.
And if we connect and hear one another, we can withstand anything. And as a Talmud teacher who spends every day with people who have been dead for 2,000 years,
Right.
I've seen this before. We've been here before. We will survive and thrive. Our people, our lives have meaning by itself intrinsically, and put away fear and let's do something together, and that will be our way forward.
Whoa! Fucking A. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Toda Rabbah.
Bevakasha.
Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of my conversation with Rabbi Iggy. I hope you enjoyed and got something out of it. He is just fantastic. This podcast is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. It is marketed by Haley Dircher, and the theme song, Judy, 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 is by the incredible Lauren Gold, who plays for Chicago. He plays piano for Chicago and for The Who, and he's just so fucking talented. And I met him at the Comedy Store in the 90s, and he's just the fucking best. And he's going to be a guest on the podcast too. He's got such an interesting story. Anyway, but that's that. Yeah, again, get tickets, live podcast February 24th in New York City with Stephanie Rule. Everything is going to be on my at my website, judygold.com. Write to me or DM me on Insta or wherever. And if you want to get a hold of Rabbi Iggy and talk to him, he's really great and available. And he has a great Talmud class Wednesdays and Fridays on Zoom, and you learn a lot. And yeah. And so I really, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get enough followers on YouTube that I can actually make some money, because this is not good. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Judy Gold. There's so much shit on there, it's amazing. It's amazing. From 40, 35 years ago, incredible. So please check it out. What else? I listed all my dates. Again, February 1st, the Shames JCC in Tarrytown, New York, and a whole bunch of other gigs coming up. You guys, really, I love you. And thank you for listening. Please subscribe and leave a review, please. And, that's it. We're going to just keep moving forward. That's all we can do. And take care of yourself. And as we always say, so long, ga 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 ga.